Hey, what is up guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to my coverage of update 1.36 for Gran Turismo 7, which finally released today. Now this is going to be a typical rundown of what to expect from all of the latest events added to GT7 with this update. However, instead of giving you a typical review of each event like I usually would, I'm actually going to save that for another video just a little bit further down the line, because I think there's actually quite a bit to take away from these events, funnily enough, and you probably won't be expecting what I'm going to say about a single one of these events. So let's go ahead and just jump in and kind of check out what to expect, and I'll take you through the first event of the bunch, which is going to be the American Sunday Cup 600, returning this time at Michelin Raceway Road, Atlanta. As you can see, in terms of your payout, it's 40,000 credits standard. If you get the 50% clean race bonus, you're expecting to take away 60,000 credits for 3 laps. Again, a fairly typical event. If we have a look in terms of the event details, as you can see, it's 3 laps, 10 cars on the grid. First place 40,000 credits, 24,000, then 16,000, so that's your top 3. Your typical rivals, you've got the standard affair, so the Viper GTS 02, the likes of the Camaro and such. Now I used the new Chevy Corvette C1 to tackle this event just because it's an absolutely awesome car if you get it tuned right, and I found myself actually enjoying this event for what it was. Look, in terms of this event, don't expect anything special. It's a typical 3-lap sprint. There is no weather, there's no day-night cycle here. Again, you're just going to go for a full sprint around the track for 3 laps, and that is going to be your lot. This is a typical, I guess, what I like to call the starter events for any of the update events. So again, you're not going to have too much trouble no matter what difficulty you get it on. Although it classes it as a 600 pp race, you are not limited. You can go way over that if you want to. If you want to tackle this in a, let's say the Tomahawk S road car, you can go ahead and do that if you really want to, and you can probably have this event done within 2 minutes flat probably. But again, I just chose to get a bit of a reason to use one of the newest additions to the game. As you can see, the AI is just no match at all. Again, just the fact that you can upgrade way over that 600 recommendation means that this event's just going to be a doddle for anyone. As you can see, I took the lead towards the kind of end of lap 1, and that was it. Never had to worry about the AI again. And as you can see, we're going to finish up here, and that's going to be job done for event number 1 of 4 that came with update 1.36. Nice and easy first place with this one. Go and use any pretty much American road car again, and you'll tackle this one no problem. So let's have a look at our overall timings and just how much reward we got. So as you can see, we did it in a 4 minutes 24.081. We did a fastest lap of a 126.745 on the final lap there. It's just no problem at all, to be quite honest. As you can see, we had a 30-second gap in the end running on normal difficulty, so don't expect to be much harder even if you have it on hard. 60k credits, 8 miles on the driving marathon, and well, that's your lot. So what did I overall think of this event? Let's be truly honest, I didn't expect anything from it. It's an excuse to use a new car in the game, and that's as good as it gets. To be quite honest though, I did enjoy my time with the C1 for this event, although it's a quick sprint. I've then kind of gone on to use this car quite a bit today. I'm finding myself really enjoying this thing, which is rather quite unexpected. But again, I went in with no expectations, so I can't really feel disappointed about this one. It's a typical event starter. So we're going to quickly move on to event 2, which is the Hypercar Parade, again returning quite a bit lately. This is one of 2 Hypercar Parade events, and the first one, as you can see, is going to be the Red Bull Ring with a 6-lap sprint, 90,000 credits for first place. As you can see, it has to be a road car. Basically, your typical opponents are going to be the usual affair of hypercars that you're going to see, so the 918, SLR McLaren, Enzo Ferrari, Vulcan, Valkyrie now, that does take part in these events. 16 car grid, so expect to see some very fancy flashy cars, and obviously these 2 events are there to make use of the brand new Maserati MC20. So I went and fully upgraded mine with a wide body, some racing softs for this event, and just went full balls to the wall and just tried to absolutely blast myself around this course. Now, one thing I did actually notice in terms of just overall how this event worked and the car I was using is that the brakes on the Maserati really aren't that good. Now, in terms of the overall strategy, there is none. Again, there's no tyre wear. I think we should know that by now in the Hypercar Parade. In terms of AI, again, super easy because there's no limit on the PP. Most people are just going to abuse that. It makes the event far too easy. No matter what difficulty you're running on, you shouldn't have any issues here. It's a fairly simple layout. It's a Red Bull ring, very typical. It's appeared many times over Gran Turismo 7's life cycle. It's overall a fast, fun and pretty fluid track. So again, as long as you go into it just wanting to realistically test the Maserati, you're probably going to have more fun than, you know, typical, I guess. Look, there's nothing too special about this event. As you can see, the AI was a breeze. You might see some nice pretty cars about, but that's really all the Hypercar Parade is, a parade for hypercars. There's nothing really else to it. Again, I got first place by lap 2, as you can see, just going down the straight here. I had to run a little bit wide on the grass, and well, that was it. I didn't have to look back. The AI will just not bother you at this point. You really shouldn't be struggling no matter what difficulty you have on. As you can see, by the time we get to finish lap 6, we're almost lapping at the F8 Ferrari here as we go across the line. So first place, nice and easy once again. In terms of the overall time, 8 minutes 40.012. Again, some pretty scruffy laps to begin with until I realised that the Maserati doesn't brake as quick as I actually thought it would. Fastest lap of a 125.770. And then in terms of your payout, I believe I did get the clean race bonus for this one. It's 135k with that 50% clean race bonus, so not too bad. Onwards next to Dragon Trail. Now this one returns with the Gardens layout, and again it's the Hypercar Parade, and as you can tell by the picture, there's actually a bit of weather to this one. 95,000 credits is your reward for first place without the clean race bonus, and we'll quickly just dive into the more deeper information of this event. As you can see, 16 cars once again, typical opponents, the exact same as you'll be seeing at the Red Bull Ring. It's no different, it's just a different track. It's a bit of a copy paste event. There is something a bit different to this one, which is actually the weather. So we'll go ahead and just boot up this event. As you can see, we're going to get underway once again with the Maserati, but I'm going to put it on sport softs this time. The main reason is, look, I don't want to be doing a pit stop in a 6-lap race. So again, if I go on road tires, I'm still going to get some grip even when the rain begins to fall, unlike if I went on the racing softs, which would probably just end up me being me pirouetting around a million times. So didn't really want to do that. In terms of the AI, you're not going to have too much difficulty. Again, there is no tire wear, there's no strategy or fuel or anything like that to worry about. The only thing you realistically need to be doing throughout the majority of this event is actually just keeping your eye on the weather radar. Now for me personally, the weather came in towards the end of the event, and yeah, that's realistically when it's going to probably come in for the most of you. I believe if you do check the info with the driver, the World Series driver, that kind of speaks you through the event, it does say that on the last leg of this event there's going to be rain, and well, that's probably when it's just kind of set to come in. I believe it's not fully dynamic, and it will just come in towards that final lap. And in terms of when it did actually come, it was only a few corners to go, so I didn't realistically feel any effect of the rain. So whilst it does sound quite good on paper, overall it's just not a fantastic event, and it's a typical Hypercar Parade where again it just feels like a parade. There's not much side-by-side racing, there's no strategy to go off, so don't go into this one expecting the rain to actually really make much of a difference as you'd expect it to, with a bunch of absolutely awesome hypercars which realistically feel like they're crying out for a longer event. So as you can see, I took first place on lap 3. Again, a few scruffy opening laps. I felt like I was getting stuck behind that AI much more here, and I actually felt this is where they were most difficult out of the entire events. Maybe it's just because of the overtaking places and such, but overall it was still fairly easy. As you can see, by the time we just get to the end of the final lap, this is when the rain did finally meet me, and this is when it started to come down, but no effect. It's just about to go into intermediate conditions as we go across the line, so to be honest, I wouldn't worry too much about it. So there we go, another first place in the bag, a super simple event with zero strategy involved, and sadly that rain not mixing it up like the way I would have wanted it to. 9 minutes 50 for this 1.378 with a fastest lap on lap 5 of a 137.295. So overall not too bad, not going to take you much time at all, around about 10 minutes, probably just under, and you'll have this event ticked off, which leaves one more remaining event. But before we do that, we'll have a look at the payout. Now I didn't get the clean race bonus for this, so I just got the standard prize money. Obviously if you were to get that 50%, you would expect a bit more of a return for doing this event, but to be quite honest, it's again not really worth it. I wouldn't run it again. If I was going to run any of the two between the Red Bull Ring and this one, I'd just run the Red Bull Ring if I was completely after the money. Although, let's be honest, most people aren't going to be grinding that event for the sake of, you know, just over 100k. But that is the easier one to get the clean race bonus on if that's something you might want to do. It was an interesting event, let's be honest, but to be honest, it just felt like the potential of this event was just left at the door. You know, it was almost forgotten about. The rain really could have played a good part. If this event was just extended a little bit more, it would have been absolutely awesome. But sadly, it just falls flat and really misses out on the potential that was there for this event. So that's just going to leave one more event to actually go ahead and check out, and well, it's going to be an 800 pp race. I'd kind of mentioned this in my patch note overview, that this one could be interesting, and I'm not going to give away too much, but I actually, you know, without kind of going into too much detail, really like this event, and for a good reason, which I'll kind of deep dive into in that video a little later down the line when I actually give you a proper, you know, full-blown review of these events. So yeah, 800 pp World Touring Car 800. As you may notice, the price isn't too good. 160,000 credits for first place, even with a clean race bonus. Expect 80,000 credits on top, which is like what, 240,000 credits. It's going to take you anywhere from 20 to 25 minutes depending on what type of weather you get. As you can see, all tyre types are open as long as you're on the racing. 800 pp or less, so it is limited. And overall, I actually found myself having a lot of fun with this event. Now, mainly because I butchered my first run. I made an absolute mess of it with the fuel. Thought I could stay out longer if I went into fuel saving, and then got stranded in the middle of a lap and basically had to crawl myself to the pits. So yeah, quite a funny showing, to be honest. So eventually I was able to just drag it back to the pits, although I'd lost a ton of time. It had dropped me all the way to the rear of the field at this point. I put another set of mediums on, thinking that, look, it looks like this rain is just going to disappear, and well, I paid the price, to be quite honest. So we come out the pits, as you can see, the rain's sort of there but still missing, and well, I didn't realise just how heavy it was going to rain, meaning that I was stuck out on the mediums trying to survive by not having to pit again and doing a fuel mix 6 run to get me all the way to the end. And yeah, it kind of backfired. I ended up just pirouetting down the main straight and getting stuck. Funnily enough, I actually felt like this event had a ton of personality and really did actually catch me off guard. So yeah, the first run, bit of a butchered run, to be honest, so I'm not going to kind of give you a bit of an overview using that footage. However, I am going to give you an overview using this footage here. As you can see, we're going to dive straight into the event and cover this one properly. So as you're seeing on screen, the first thing you want to do is actually put your fuel mix to 6. Now, I fully recommend this just so you can begin to monitor that weather radar. Now, again, I got caught by surprise because the rain actually started coming down within the first few laps, meaning that this event is actually fully dynamic, meaning that not only do we have a bit of a day or night cycle here, we actually have fully dynamic weather, which can, you know, cause rain at any point in time. A little bit like the Le Mans event, it kind of mixes it up and really keeps this event quite fresh. So I just played it safe at first. I went for the mediums, you know, a fully upgraded GTR, just an excuse to use the, you know, new liveried GTR, although I'd already had the livery on the car for probably the last few weeks before it officially got released. So yeah, cheers for that, Polyphony. But yeah, I just thought I may as well go and use this car. Had to box in at the end of lap 2 because we started getting some rain. As you can see, it's pushing very close to intermediate territory. In terms of my actual tyre choice, because I kind of kept my eye on the weather radar, I could see there was a ton of rain coming in. Now again, you may not get the same strategy. You may get rain at the midpoint, you may get it at the end. I'm assuming that it has to rain at some point, but I got it very early on. So I went for a full set of wets because the rain looked like it was sticking around for a while, and well, it was a good thing I did because it really did start coming down the further we went into the race. So I made my pit stop early. I just put some fuel in and went for a fuel mix 6 run. Again, it dropped me towards the back of the field, but did allow me to just kind of, you know, get the get the jump on the rest of the opponents, mainly because a lot of them got stuck out in the middle of the track. And although there's not many too tight corners and stuff, the AI can still end up pirouetting around and, you know, kind of getting stuck like you may see at the likes of Le Mans. Now on to lap 12, and this was when I was going to go for my second pit stop of the race. So I've got plenty of fuel left, to be honest. I just went for a very kind of safe run, but the track had dried out enough that these wets were just absolutely zero use at this point. The weather radar was clear, so well, this is going to cause me to go onto a dry compound of tyre and just manage the dry racing line that was there at the time, meaning that, You know, I couldn't really go off the line, and if I did, I was pretty much in trouble. But look, I'm going to get faster lap times and less tyre wear on these mediums at this point. So I just filled the car to full and just went for it, and well, I paid the price considering the pit lane was still absolutely soaking, and it's going to cause me a few issues coming out. So yeah, this is where I lost my clean race bonus, just, you know, slapping the back end into the wall and then getting absolutely took out by an M6. I believe this was the last place car at the time. So yeah, it just didn't quite go to plan when I left the pits, but I knew what I wanted to do on the strategy. In terms of the AI, look, they're not that challenging. You can really quite easily abuse this event. Again, the 800 limit is very, very kind, and if you want to, you can use the likes of the Mazdas and such, I believe. So again, anything that works at Sardinia or overpowered, you can expect to be using it here as well if you really want. As you can see, nighttime fell and we crossed the line to finish up this event on a 2-stopper. Again, that dynamic weather really is the key, depending on what strategy you're going to go with and realistically how you want to run the car for this entire race. So first place was quite easy, however I found myself having a ton of fun actually getting to the end. 26 minutes, 2 seconds, 0.591. As you can see, I lapped almost everybody. Fastest lap of a 109.125 on lap 20, which was the final lap of the event. And this is where I may go into a bit more of a, you know, kind of giveaway and a bit of a rant at Polyphony, but I'll talk about that in a second. Payout 160k standard. Again, expect as 240k with your 50% bonus. So let's just quickly talk about this event, because I am going to have a full video dedicated to this event. And Polyphony, if you'd have upped the pay for this event, this could have quite easily become a go-to favorite grinding event for many people. This is a very enjoyable event, and this is exactly why I want to do a full video and a full event rundown and review for all of the events, because this one stands out as being, well, fantastic. It's the high speed ring. It's one of the most recognizable tracks in Gran Turismo. It's dynamic weather. Again, it can rain at any time. It can really mix up your strategy, and you do have a track with a day-night cycle, which is obviously the high speed ring. So again, you have everything to build the foundations for a solid event. Add another 10 laps, whatever you want to do, up the payout. It would have been perfect. It was so close to perfect. If you'd have got the payout right, even extended it and made it maybe more towards 30 to 40 minutes, it would have been even better. This is a track I could drive a ton, and I feel like, again, it just doesn't quite make enough use of that day-night cycle, even with the dynamic weather being as brilliant as it is here. But look, I'm going to save the rest of this, what I want to say about this event and the others, until that video comes. Expect that in a few days. I do want to give a big thank you to Wraith for letting me become an affiliate with the company. If you do want to check them out and you want to use my code for 10% off, then feel free. It does help not only me out, but, you know, I've been using this stuff a ton recently to get myself off of the more crappy energy drinks like Monsters and Red Bulls, which, to be honest, I probably had a bit of an addiction to, and this stuff just overall is making me feel better. And that's not me just saying it, that's just because I'm going for a bit of a better lifestyle, to be quite honest, to move away from, you know, some of those other energy drinks. Big thank you to my channel members. They'll be on screen now until the end of the video with the outro. If you do want to, you know, follow me on my journey of 1.36 or whatever, then feel free. I'll have my Discord, my Twitter and all that good stuff in the description down below, as well as my Patreon if you do want to donate to the channel between uploads. Now, in terms of my schedule for the rest of 1.36, this is going to be my final video for today. Tomorrow morning I'm going to be uploading my predictions for the World Series. A lot of people have been asking for that, so I'm just going to do a quick video of that in the morning. I'm going to give you my initial impressions of all the cars that we can currently access within this update. The only one that we can't really touch is the ambulance, so expect that probably more towards the midday to, you know, let's say early afternoon tomorrow at some point. And then tomorrow evening I'm going to be giving you my rundown of all of the engine swaps within this update. There is some fairly decent ones. I think it's kind of hit or miss depending on the kind of car guy you are, but that's going to be it for this video. I've got a ton planned for 1.36, a lot I want to talk about, so stay tuned if you want to hear my opinion on that, or if you just want to see me, you know, cover absolutely everything including reviews of the cars and such. I'll see you later on, guys. Have a fantastic day. Thanks for joining me on day one of 1.36. Take care. Peace.